This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, January 18th. Please stand for our invocation led by Pastor Gregory West of Rehoboth Missionary Baptist Church. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow our heads. Our Father God, we come this morning standing before you and the council and the mayor, the staff of each branch of government that is represented here this morning. We're praying for those who will be making some life-changing decisions for many people. We're asking that they will make the decisions in an unbiased way, that they will make the decision not based on their political gain, but for the best interest of the citizens that they are representing. Clear their minds of any confusion, distractions, and favoritism. We're asking you, God, to continue to be with the council, the mayor, and every department of this great city of Mobile. Let service get better for the citizens of this great city. And we carefully give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. Amen. United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, President Small.
Here.
Vice President Gregory.
Here.
Councilmember Penn.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Reynolds.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Statement of rules.
And good morning, everyone.
Morning.
And good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's a beautiful day outside here in the city of Mobile. As I stated earlier, we had a beautiful weekend by celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, starting off on Saturday, where all 7 districts had the opportunity to be involved with their citizens and invest in their own districts, and all the way up to the march on yesterday afternoon. And again, looking out to the side today, it's a beautiful day. Many people should be jealous of Mobile, Alabama, as long as it's not raining. Amen. Statement of rules. At this time, I ask if anyone has any type of electronic device, cellular device, iPads, any type, please at this time put on the off or the vibrate position. The off or the vibrate position. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, ordinance, appeal, or public hearing agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must take his or her name and address. Any person desiring to speak to the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk office no later than 2:00 p.m. on the Thursday prior to council meeting. The subject that he or she wishes to address must be identified and pertain to the city of Mobile business. Any person who has not given proper notice to the city clerk office and wishes to speak on a non-agenda item would not be allowed to address the council. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the council. A bell will sound to indicate the end of 2 minutes. 1 minute remains for summarizing. The second bell indicates the time has expired. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council members. All statements are to be made to the chair, who will recognize any council member who wishes to respond. Madam Clerk.
Communications from the mayor.
Well, good morning. It's good to see you today. Have several announcements this morning. One is I want to thank Council President C.J. Small for lighting the Mardi Gras tree in my absence. Appreciate you doing that. But that is the beginning of Mardi Gras season. And I think if you ride around town, you'll see a lot of Christmas trees and other trees and yard decorations starting that celebration. This year we'll have a very, very robust Mardi Gras dashboard on the on the city website. It'll have up-to-date information regarding parking, scheduling, vendors, and there's never existed a web page like this regarding Mardi Gras heretofore. So that dashboard can be found at www.cityofmobile.org/Mardi Gras. Also, the City of Mobile owes a thank you to the City Council members, to the Mobile United, and a team of environmental nonprofits and community leaders who supported the cleanup in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. My understanding is one of the best cleanups that we've had. About 9,500 pounds of litter were collected in all city council districts, 275 volunteers, just a real diverse group of people interested in trying to keep the city clean, willing to get out, get in the ditches, and do the things necessary to pick up trash. So thanks to everybody that participated in that. Also, in the near future, we'll be rolling out a new litter web page for the city, so you can stay up to date of the activities going on for us to, in our effort to keep the city clean. One of the biggest topics of conversation we have right now has to do with redistricting. Last week, we started meeting with the City Council regarding redistricting. I want to thank them for their input. We're committed to transparency and to following the Voting Rights Act. We'll continue to work with the City Council to take in their input on the redistricting maps and communicate directly with affected constituents in each council district. Also, we continue to meet with community leaders who would like to have a meeting with the administration to get a better understanding of how the process works. This week, we will have an interactive website so that any citizen can go online and understand what the process is. Be later this week or maybe midweek that'll be rolled out. But it gives the citizens an opportunity to see the details, look at the maps, submit questions, and get feedback regarding the redistricting plans. Again, it's in an effort to make sure that we're transparent about the process. The date for a virtual town hall regarding redistrict will be announced later this week. Again, we will have a virtual town hall meeting regarding redistricting, and we'll give you that date later this week. Over the last several years, we've been very fortunate to employ a lot of our young people through the YES initiative. YES applications are still open. They'll close on January 31st. The applications can be found on yes251.org. YES is the Youth Empowerment Initiative for ages 16 to 24. And we'll continue to address the greatest challenge facing our city, and that's reversing the effects of violence and securing a bright future for all children. So anybody interested in the YES initiative and seeking employment, please go online and fill out an application. Thank you very much, Mr. President. That concludes my remarks.
Mr. Mayor, do you know the status or even NITRA? Is people really applying for the YES program?
NITRA.
Currently, the people are applying. We did open the applications on the 10th, and so we do have young people that are applying for the positions.
So how are we looking so far?
It is not where it used to be, but usually we wait. They wait until closer to January the 31st. Of course, the first year we had about 4,000 applicants. We don't see that at this moment, but we are asking all young people 16 to 24 to apply.
Was a PDF ever sent to the City Council, you know of?
To my knowledge, we have sent out the graphics, but we are happy to send those out again.
Yeah, because with all our 7 districts, and also go ahead and communicate with some of the schools, we can try to go ahead and get this wrapped up.
Absolutely, and we are starting that outreach with the public schools, not this week because they're virtual, but next week we'll be going out into the schools as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones has a proclamation.
Friday night, I had the honor and privilege to go to the Exchange Club of Mobile's celebration. It's their 85th anniversary of work in this city. And, you know, it's organizations like this that are so important to this city. There's no way that the mayor's administration, the city council can ever take care of all of the needs and services required of this city. And it's charitable organizations like this one, nonprofit, that is doing the yeoman's work of getting out into the community where it matters and really where the rubber meets the road. They started this work, like I said, 85 years ago, and extremely impressive. They've already done 15 projects in this fiscal year starting in July, and that's with COVID. That's ramped down their operations a little bit, so definitely significant. So with that, thank you for what y'all do every day and year over year in our great city. And with that, I've got a proclamation that I would like to read and present to you. Whereas the Exchange Club of Mobile is celebrating their 85th anniversary gala on Friday, January 14th, and the Exchange Club is a civic service organization founded in 1911 by a group of community-minded people and businessmen in Detroit, Michigan, who gathered to discuss and exchange ideas as to how they might improve their community. And the Exchange Club is spread throughout our country and had its beginning in Mobile, was chartered in 1937 by Joseph Langan and several other civic-minded individuals as part of the National Exchange Club. And the Exchange Club was prided themselves for the past 85 years of being a service club, providing services to the youth, our community, and our country through the 4 National Exchange Club program areas, which are Americanism, youth, community service, and child abuse prevention. And now, therefore, I, Scott Jones, council member of District 6, along with the mayor and members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim Friday, January 14th, as Exchange Club of Mobile Day in Mobile, and urge all our citizens to join with us in this momentous occasion done at the city of Mobile this day. Scott Jones, Mobile City Council member. Thank you. And if you want to say a word, you're more than welcome.
I just want to say on behalf of the members of the Exchange Club of Mobile, we appreciate this proclamation. It has been a thrill for us to be able to provide the services to our community that we have over the past 85 years. I've been involved for 22 of those, and it's been a great honor to be able to do that. And thank you for this recognition. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you all.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is adopted.
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on February 3rd on Conti Street, February 4th on Conti Street, January 22nd. We have 2. Both of these are on Fontaine Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill passes.
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to declare the structures at 1006 Basil Street, 1337 Congress Street, 1479 John H. Campbell Senior Way, 1062 State Street, and 1064 State Street public nuisances and ordering them demolished.
This open up the public hearing of these said properties. If anyone here to address the council on any of these properties, you may do so at this time by stating your name and your address as you approach the podium on the top, please. Anyone present? If not, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Don Camo.
My name is Don Como, Executive Director, Explorium Science Center. The address is 25 Viabeliza, Fairhope. Good morning.
Morning.
First, I would like to say that on January 6th, we attended the Governor's Conference, and we were finally named the 2021 Attraction of the Year for the state of Alabama. And we were proud to accept that award and represent Mobile. So the Explorium has received this award twice since its inception. So we're very, very, very grateful and very excited to represent Mobile as the 2021 Attraction of the Year. Yes, sir. We're also excited that we are finally getting back to international exhibits. In front of you is the book, the exhibit book on Archimedes. We have not had an international exhibit since Cannes. We're very excited to bring this in. It's coming from Florence, Italy. We will have our VIP opening, which hopefully all of you received your invitations for on the 28th. This will be a small gathering Nothing like Con was. We wanted to keep it small, but it will be on that evening. And then we'll be opening to the public on February 2nd to celebrate Archimedes and his works. If you had not heard about this yet, all these pieces were handmade. This exhibit first came out in 2017, so we're very excited to have it here. Every piece, every replica was made from his diagrams by the artisans of Florence. And to install it, they're flying in from all over the world to come and get this done, including one gentleman from Australia who knows he can't go back home for a few months. So we're very grateful for them to come in and get this installed, but we're very excited about this exhibit. We think it's going to be great, bring great visitation to the state, great education for our students, and another big plus for the city. So we're really excited about that, and I want to invite you all to the VIP event. Hope to see you there, and hopefully you all received your invitations. If not, I'll put another one in your catalog.
Any statements from the council?
Yeah.
Mr. Carroll?
This is for me, this is awesome. You know, I'm one of those science geeks. I say Archimedes is the father of curved geometry and the calculus. You know, I'm an engineering major, so I get
then
into
you're
this
gonna
kind of
love
stuff.
it.
You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to bring my 14-year-old daughter. My son's 26. He may not have the interest the way I do anymore. You know, but the one thing that we all remember Archimedes for is when he said, "You give me a fulcrum and a level or a lever, then I can lift the world." So, and I say that to remind everybody that when we're all working in the same direction, there's no telling what we can do. You know, and I look forward to us trying to use a fulcrum and a lever as we get through this reapportionment and redistricting. Because if we're all lifting a heavy load, you know, there's no telling what we can do. I'll be there. And I'm going to be
Glad to hear it.
glad to see it.
I look forward to all of you being there.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Jones.
thanks for coming down, Don. Appreciate that, and congratulations on the award as well. How long will this be in Mobile, and what are we doing to market this and get the word out about
it
this?
will be in Mobile through the second week of May. We have used our typical marketing techniques. We have already hit several magazines. You'll be seeing something come out in Mobile Mass soon, actually this next issue. Social media, commercials on 2 of the network channels, which will start airing hopefully soon there. Actually, the problem is that since the exhibit's not installed, we don't have what they call B-roll. So they want to wait for the exhibit here to get B-roll so they can kind of get a better understanding of what it is, because it has not been out there for quite some time because of COVID. So there's no refreshing video of it. But we will be marketing. Also, all schools have been notified, both Mobile, Baldwin, Escambia, Jackson. We've actually advertised from Louisiana all the way to the Panhandle.
David, are we doing anything with Visit Mobile with this initiative? Or are we tied in?
No, well, David and I have talked quite often, and actually we're going to be meeting with them as well, and we have talked about some strategies.
Great. Thank you. And again, congratulations. Look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Ms. Gregory.
Yeah, thank you, Don, for coming down, and it is great recognition 2 times. So we'll have to keep the ball rolling with the Governor's Conference on Tourism, but it really does help shine that spotlight on Mobile, and it goes along with the other awards that we've already received. Mobile has certainly gotten a lot of recognition for their tourism efforts this year, and many, kudos to you guys and your team for what you have done at the Explorium to shine that spotlight here and to bring these exhibits in. So thank you, and just let all your team know that we really appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I mean, trust me, I could not do it without the great team I have and without the support of the city that I've gotten, and I really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, and I'd personally like to say congratulations. We heard this news a couple weeks ago, how y'all have been branding, the museum. The only thing I have to say is may want to look to turn over the Maritime Museum over to you all too, so we can get some, attraction over there. But again, congratulations. And I heard you stated earlier that y'all advertised from Louisiana on over, to the East Coast and everything. And that's what it takes. You got to spend money to make money. Any businessman knows that. Again, congratulations to you and to the rest of the board, and looking to see more great things in the future.
Well, we're excited, and we do have some big news potentially for 24, but I can't discuss it yet. But we're very excited. We're working on a really big deal that will actually have a big impact on the city. So we're very excited about that.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Penn.
I'm done. I want to thank you for coming down. The Explorium is one of my kids' favorite place to attend, so I'm glad you all received the award. they love going there. And I'm pretty sure we probably will be having a birthday party there soon. So it's a great place to learn and have fun at the same time. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we're also bent on keeping it safe for everybody. So please know that we do keep cleaning everything constantly. So, and we hopefully will see you all there on the 28th that evening.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Hunter.
Good morning. I'm Carol Hunter, today speaking on behalf of Events Mobile, the organization that produces the MoonPie over Mobile event, delivering our annual report to the council and mayor. And I first want to start by thanking everyone who worked so hard to make this event a success for our city this year. Certainly the committee members who are here today, and we have a couple, Cassandra McAvoy and Chris Gibson, several more planned on attending, but COVID. And so I don't think there's anyone else here in the audience today. But I especially want to recognize the amazing city employees who worked New Year's Eve doing all manner of things. We had teams from Public Works, public buildings, electrical, public safety, and especially the city's Department of Parks and Recreation and its Office of Special Events led by Shonda Smith. Without those folks, MoonPie over Mobile could not happen. I just want everybody to know that all of these public servants were incredibly helpful, extremely efficient, and a total joy to work with, as always, as they are every year. They don't often get the credit that they deserve, and I just want to say for the record that the citizens of Mobile are so lucky to have these folks working on their behalf. I also want to recognize our sponsors who provide the support to keep this event free for everyone who attends. The City of Mobile, of course, which is our primary funder for MoonPie over Mobile. Other support comes from the Retirement Systems of Alabama and the Downtown Mobile Renaissance Hotels. T-Mobile, who was a first-time sponsor this year, and they sponsored the Resolution Wall. Mobile County, Visit Mobile, the Downtown Hotel Community, and Chattanooga Bakery. I don't have to tell you that New Year's Eve 2021 was a bit of a challenge for all the normal reasons, but complicated further last year by the periodic spikes of COVID-19. After vaccines became widely available in March, we began the process of booking a headliner. Over the course of several months, we negotiated with several acts, even had an agreement with one who later withdrew the offer. We then contacted a few others during the Delta surge who wouldn't even return a phone call. However, our intrepid partners at Soul Kitchen continued to contact talent agencies, and in late October, we were finally able to announce that Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue were confirmed for New Year's Eve. Hopefully, this year's process will be less of an ordeal for everyone. Having said that, the attendance for this year was the second best since 2017, which is the first year for which I have really solid data. Even with concern over the Omicron variant that emerged a couple of weeks before New Year's Eve, more than 33,000 people were downtown on the 31st, with 20% of those traveling from more than 100 miles away. We figure many of those 6,600 people represented at least one room night. Visitors from all along the central Gulf Coast were expected, of course, but we also had folks from Texas, Maryland, New York, California, Colorado, Arizona, Tennessee, South and North Carolina, and Indiana. The media coverage for MoonPie over Mobile continues to be impressive. Between October 1st and January 2nd, MoonPie was mentioned hundreds of times on local and national television and made several national lists of notable New Year's Eve events. The media monitoring survey from Visit Mobile reports a total reach of more than 300 million across all platforms with an advertising value equivalent of $3 million. Even if you had the money, you can't buy that kind of publicity. So thank you, Council, Mayor Stimpson, your staff, but mostly I'd like to thank Fred Richardson, former Councilman Fred Richardson, for dreaming up this wacky event that puts Mobile on the national if not the international stage. So thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Hunter, thank you so much for all your hard work and your time that you have put into the MoonPie drop. Understand that this past year was a bit challenging, I guess, trying to put out orders to commit to really just sign up, to come to Mobile during this pandemic. But again, thank you so much for all the hard work. I just have another request. I've been requesting things for the last several years. This coming year, the Lord will, New Year's Eve will be on a Saturday night. And that's a prime opportunity for Mobile to really get heads in beds Friday, Saturday, and also possibly Sunday night, because this falls on a weekend. I believe that along with Events Mobile and some other people at the table, we need to start this conversation soon as what we're going to make this weekend look like, this coming year, and to make this one of the greatest MoonPie drop that has ever been. Because again, it's a sad dog that don't wag his own tail. If we don't wag our tail and let the nation know what we got going on in Mobile, nobody else is not going to do it. And this take, planning, visionary. And so really soon we need to really just sit down with your committee, with Mr. David, everyone else, Shauna Smith, and try to go ahead and just plan for next year and take advantage of what we have coming and everything.
Yeah, I expect that process to start right after Mardi Gras, and we'll start wagging that tail sooner than we've been able to this past year for sure.
That sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you so much again.
Excuse me. Reverend Trevor.
Morning, Trevor Woolridge, 354 P.H. Lewis Place, Mobile, Alabama. Good morning, Mr. President, honorable members of City Council, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for affording me 3 minutes, which will be the most important minutes I will use today. On July the 2nd, 1964, President Lyndon Johnson signed the most sweeping piece of American civil rights legislation of the century, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. President Johnson said, and I quote, "The vote is the most powerful instrument ever devised by man for breaking down injustice and destroying the terrible walls which imprison men because they are different from other men," unquote. My real struggle this morning is that the very next day after this country acknowledged the profound contribution of the prophet of the 20th century, Dr. Martin Luther King, I'm standing before City Council to plead for the wonderful people of Bethel AME Church and the residents of the city to ensure that in the new seats in the City Council that they finally truly represent our city and ensure all citizens have adequate representation in our city government. I have a good friend who's seeking to be elected a bishop in the AME Church, and as much as we love the Lord, our denomination is one of the most political organizations I've ever been a member of. Even the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, said in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1976, if I can learn to get elected a bishop in the AME Church, I can win the election of president of this great country. My friend running for bishop in his stump speech has one important sentence he often repeats: "You can trust me in the room." I understand how this works. Several of us will appear and plead our case before this honorable body, and then the decisions will be made in the room. We want to trust you when you are in the room. Far too long, too many of the citizens have felt unrepresented, unseen, and even disenfranchised. Now, through this redistricting process, we have a chance to turn this around. Not only is it an enormous opportunity for our citizens to be truly represented, it is your responsibility to ensure they are under state and federal law. Mobile is a majority Black and majority people of color city, and our new maps must reflect that the 4 majority Black seat City Council districts. We've seen the first draft, but it was indeed a very rough draft. While there are many headlines saying 4 majority Black districts were proposed, the map actually released surely seemed to say something different. I know it's just the first draft, but this is worrisome for so many of our citizens. The map released by the mayor not only didn't have a new solid black majority council seat, but it also shaved down the black voting age population in District 2. So it would seem that rather than moving down the road of progress, if we aren't careful, we will be driving in reverse. We must not let that happen and let this opportunity slip through our fingers. We must not also let this process happen in the dark rooms of Government Plaza.
Reverend Trevor.
Thank you.
Thank you
for this opportunity to address you, and I hope we can trust you in the room.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Beverly Cooper.
Good morning. I'm Beverly Cooper. I reside at 1208 Palmetto Street, Mobile, Alabama, 36604 in District 2. I'm co-founder of Stand Up Mobile, a blueprint for us, and standing with me is Amelia Bacon, the other co-founder. Stand Up Mobile is a nonprofit organization that was created to bring the power of the black vote to elections at all levels. We also very much interested in making sure that there's an opportunity to educate our voters on significant events and issues. And we're also, most importantly, concerned about promoting fairness in governmental activities. Specifically, we're here today to address the issue of redistricting in Mobile. It is of the utmost importance to the future of Mobile that the mayor and the city council redraw the current districts to ensure that all of our citizens are properly represented here in Government Plaza, especially on the city council. Not only is it important, but it's also your obligation under state and federal law that this is done based on the current demographics. It's imperative that the new map must have 4 majority black city council districts. This doesn't mean that one can say there are 4 majority black districts and then have maps that show something different when it comes to voter percentages. On the map and table presented in the mayor's nightly email, the newly drawn majority black district falls well below the 50% mark for the black voting age population. While most of the media coverage stated that the first proposal included these 4 required districts, upon closer look, we didn't feel that it stood up. I know we're just beginning this process. However, the Stand Up Mobile community wants to ensure that your next steps are aligned with the plans that we and our community partners have deemed equitable. In addition, as a citizen of District 2, I'm concerned because it appears that rather than working to ensure this obligation, there's an effort to dilute the black vote. These are both of the great concerns that I have, and for many citizens across the city. I urge you all to address them and to be sure to meet your obligations to us, the citizens, and to the law. We all know that the way districts are drawn will impact who wins elections, which communities are represented, how political power is distributed, and what laws are passed. Our desire is to be able to protect the process from abuse and encourage those with the power to have the political will to make poor and fair decisions which support all residents of the city of Mobile. To be clear, the lines are drawn right now that may provide a majority African American citizen in 4 districts, but it does not ensure the majority of African American voters in those districts. I urge you all to go and take a look at this process and make sure that it's transparent. Make sure that there's an opportunity to truly engage our community. Specifically, there should be public meetings in different parts of the city at times when working citizens are able to participate, and with a virtual option for those concerned for their health and safety. The mayor mentioned a few moments ago that some of these things are being considered, and I want to applaud you for that.
Ms. Cooper.
This must be open and transparent process. I urge you to ensure that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cooper. To reemphasize, I guess, Anitra, if Ms. Henderson, you can reemphasize this, would be community meetings virtually dealing with the redistricting. And I know the mayor said it would start later on this week, or the dates will be announced this week. You know exactly what date for people the citizens can really just hear exactly when this is going to take part and everything.
So the first thing will be a virtual meeting to understand the process. We will have that date by the end of this week that we will put out. That will be one of many meetings that will happen not only virtually but in the communities across the city.
Will these meetings take place before February 12th, or did these meetings go after February 12th also?
Both.
Both.
There will be meetings before February the 12th and after February the 12th.
I would ask that anything that the administration puts out, if you all can make sure that is, in PDF form and issued to the clerk office, where each council members can have a copy of it, but we can also make that known to our constituents.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Carroll.
I want to take that a step forward. It sounds like you have a plan and a plan of action that you intend to follow. Would you please write that plan down and send it, I want to say to me, because I would like to send it to everybody in the whole entire city. I like it published in the papers. I like it published on the internet. And I also like it mailed to certain parts of the city where people are older that don't get on the internet. For example, Plateau, Magazine Point, Happy Hill, the average age out there is 70 plus. They don't get on the internet. So they'll be misinformed if they don't have the information. Certain parts of District 2 are the same way, where people aren't on the internet. And if we are going to have public meetings, then the schedules and everything else should be published well ahead of time. To date is January 18th, which gives us less than 30 days before February 12th. So everyone, in that 30 days, you may miss someone because the information isn't totally out there. So if you would please get that to me in the next week, and I will be glad to get it out to everybody in the whole entire city.
So to be clear, we're still doing the research. We're talking to community leaders to get those questions that they may have so that we can put together frequently asked questions. And then once that's complete this week, we will send that outreach plan to you and make it completely transparent, not only to the city council, but also to every citizen in the community.
I understand, but the mayor has, or the administration has, until February 12th. At the end of your week, it'll be the 25th. That only gives you 2 weeks to get this out to the public, your plan, before you present it to the council. There's 184,000 people in the city of Mobile. How do you plan to reach that many people in 2 weeks, virtually and with town hall meetings? So we need to, if you would, get it to me as quickly as possible so that I can help you get it to everybody necessary so that everyone will have a chance to get it to us in a week from now. We're, like I said, 25 January only gives us a couple of days.
So let me help with the process. Two things. One, I understand it. Mr. President, the councilman's asking to assist us, but rather than give a directive to an employee about how we deal with this, what would probably be better is, because I want everybody to understand as we go forward, two things. One is that February 12th deadline is only that the mayor deliver an ordinance to the council. After that proceeds, we have an additional 6 months for the council to work through with the education process for those 184 or 187,000 people. So I just want everybody to understand that we're not asking to do everything within the next 2 weeks. What we're asking to do is talk about the process. Second point is that Ms. Henderson mentioned is twofold. We're going to have meetings to talk about the process and then present you all with the actual ordinance. We will have to coordinate with community meetings, and I think that's what Ms. Henderson is referencing, the after, with educating everyone not only on how the process works, but what the redrawing looks like as the council goes through its 6 month process. So I just wanted to make sure that we all had that point of clarity. There is an additional 6 months following the February 12th, and I know the council understands that, but I want to make sure the general public understands that we are continuing to move forward with that same effort.
Again, thank you for your response, and you're exactly right. The second 6 months is the council's opportunity to either accept or vote upon what is presented to us by the mayor and the administration. It is my hope that before it gets to the council, that we have gone as far as we can to follow the rule so that we have the voting populace densities correct at that time. Because once it gets to us, and the administration has made a decision, it takes 5 votes to get anything passed or corrected at that time. So the hope is that we have it correct when it comes to us. And it was no intent to direct or give order to any administrative individual. The request was to please send me what you have or us so that we can get it out or help get it out to the public so that they can truly follow the process, so that we are truly transparent. We only have a few weeks before you guys are ready to get it to us by law or by rule. So it would be us helping to get the information out as quickly as possible so that everyone has a clear understanding.
Mr. President.
Mr. Jones.
Look, the City Council received the plan last week. The City Council has already started. I've been working with colleagues that I've been affected by the redistricting plan already last week. The reason we're doing this is a census was taken between 2010 and 2020. That census lays out a very clear picture in the city that we're not one person has taken into account yet, and that is there's been a population shift in this city from districts 1, 2, and 3 to the west. That's the facts. Commission redistricted last week. 10,000 people left that commission district. 10,000.
Mr. President.
I'm not done. I'm not done. Can I finish?
You got the floor, Mr. Jones.
Nope. I've not heard one person congratulate the administration for the work that's been done. And let me tell you, 4 out of 7 districts are minority majority as laid out in their plan. To sit here and say that we have got to formulate a plan based off of race is not the entire equation. There's laws and regulations that go into many different aspects of this that have to be taken into account. Neighborhoods cannot be divided. It's got to go along significant boundaries. There's got to be contiguous boundaries. And if populations leave a district, it's not so easy to try and match that same population basis. It's a science. I'm going to lose. District 6 is going to lose. I gained the most population in this city over the last 10 years. I have to give up neighborhoods to District 4 and District 5. I've got nowhere to go, and this plays into annexation as well that I'm not even going to get into today because I can't move west. Everybody else is moving west because they have to based off of the law. And we're following the law. And let me be very clear, because you have a minority majority doesn't mean you're going to have a black representative sitting on city council. We had free and fair elections in August and October. 2 of the representatives sit up here with more blacks than whites in their district, and they're represented by a white representative. Because relationships, I sat here and said this about a month ago, relationships rise above race. Character matters. Qualifications matter. So let's throw race out the window and get to who's going to represent us the best, and that's what you have up here. The other thing that we need to take into account, we keep talking about racial redistricting. Look how many people voted. 31,000 people in my district and 3,000 people voted in October. Where's the blame fall? Redistricting? No. People are not voting. It's that simple, and that was indicative in every district. So it doesn't matter how we draw lines if people don't get out and vote. Thank you.
Mr. Carroll.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm pretty sure that all of us that have lived in districts 1, 2, and 3. Oh, before I get to, by the way, I never used the word race, did I? No, never used it. But I'm pretty sure that everyone that lives in districts 1, 2, and 3 realize that we have gone through a process that's called deconcentration. And that process is when individuals are taken from either housing complexes, low to moderate income housing living sections, housing board-owned properties, and then they are moved to another area of a city. Not moving voluntarily by choice, but through a process that's called deconcentration. Now, after deconcentration, you normally have another process that's called regentrification. And we've seen that all over the country, Chicago, New York. Oh, by the way, look at Harlem and what happened to Harlem. If you walk down the streets of Harlem today, you wouldn't recognize it from the 1920s. Doesn't look like the Harlem we know that started the Harlem Renaissance and the change in music that was jazz that kind of changed the course of a country. We wouldn't recognize it. But the process of deconcentration and gentrification is working right now, whether by choice or by accident or by what happens. That is where the population went. We lost 2,200 out of one, 1,500 out of another one, about 3,000 out of another, with no replacement, no one-for-one, no voucher increase in those districts, but instead were placed in the western part of the city. So it wasn't a move by choice, it was a move by directive. So the thing is that when we redraw the lines, the intent is not to dilute the populace, but to also add back to it. In this case, it may have been accidentally done, or it may have been done, inadvertently, but it happened. Now, the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, and those sections of Section 5 that still apply, I am sure that we are going to follow those. I'm positive that we are going to follow those. But to meet the requirement, we must have a voting populace that is the majority, and not a population populace that's the majority. Key word there is voting populace that is the majority, not a population populace.
Just for clarification to the city attorney, what the administration had passed out on last week, that is basically a rough draft, but that is not the draft that is the final draft that is going to be submitted to the city council, correct?
You're correct. That is a work in progress. That's right.
But everyone just would know that's just a rough draft, okay?
And Mr. President,
Mr. Carroll.
May I also tell the administration, the mayor, Ricardo, and whoever else worked on it, I think it was Jim Rosler and Anitra, it's a great, great first ref draft. We are so close. Mobile, I used to make the statement all the time, so goes Mobile, so goes the state of Alabama. We have a chance here to lead the state. We have a chance to show every other municipality, but not just municipalities, also the legislature, how to do this. Legislators getting ready to go to lawsuits. We don't have to go there. We can get this right before it ever gets there.
Mr. President.
Mr. Scott Jones.
This isn't an opportunity to show how great we are. We are great. We have been great. We have led the way. When the marches happened on Selma, they didn't happen here in Mobile, and there was a reason for that. We are a diverse and special community. We are united. And I see it every day when I walk down here in the streets of Mobile. My best friends in this city are black. You laughing?
No, the audience.
No. There's the problem, because that's an honest statement. It's an honest statement. I've got longtime friends in this city that I've been friends with for 40 and 50 years. And you know what? They're not friends because of the color of their skin. They're friends because what's in their heart. And that's how we operate in Mobile. And I've seen that since I moved here in 1978. And that's the Mobile that I know. And that's the Mobile that I love. And that's the Mobile that I appreciate. And when somebody sits here and wants to divide this city by race, I will get upset, because that's not who this city is. I love this city. And I will fight for this city to be as great as she always has been. And this isn't an opportunity to change something that we haven't been doing. We have been doing it.
Well, Mr. President, I think we all love the city. You know, Selma is a great city. You know, MLK Day was yesterday. I think I saw 3 of us there. I don't remember seeing anyone else. I know that the mayor made his statement, but, you know, for love of the process, I don't remember seeing anyone there to celebrate Martin Luther King and his victory with the Voting Rights Act. I'm going to wait and say or make further comments as we get through this process. And hopefully as we get through this process, we'll come out of it with something that is going to be beneficial and leading and shows what we in the city of Mobile can truly do. It's, we're a long ways from 1965, but there's still rumblings of Jim Crow. There's still rumblings of other things in our society, even though they've been quieted for a long time. We have an opportunity here. And I look forward to working with the administration and getting this opportunity right.
Mr. Lambert.
Mr. President.
Mr. Penn.
Before we move on, just wanted to let the city of Mobile and the residents know this council, I've been working with them for the last, I guess, 2 to 3 months. It's a good group. We're going to figure this thing out together. And we want to make sure we do it right. Sometimes through society, we have different perspectives depending on how we grew up. And we have to work together and learn and teach. In this process, Councilman Carroll said something. We have the opportunity to do it right. Councilman Jones said we've been doing good, and we have grown. But we have came from a long way, guys. And we have to understand that we had challenges throughout our city and throughout our nation. And there's nothing wrong to talk about those issues and challenges, but we have to be truthful and understand we have had challenges. So in this moment, people are concerned because of the challenges that we have. And so I want to commend the administration for having these town hall meetings going forward, and I would love to be a part in District 1. We have had concerns from people in my community. And so I would love to submit those questions to you all. And when you come to District 1, I would like to be a part of it. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Terry Mitchell.
Terry Mitchell, 117 Tally Court. I want to, on behalf of the Animal Advisory Committee, I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of the solution. It will probably be in the city's best interest to attack the problem of the animals in a global master plan, if you will, so to speak. To address the animal issues, a big plan. The city sends out trained, experienced firefighters to fight fires with the modern technology. But when it comes to animal control, you have a department with untrained, inexperienced personnel attempting to use 1960s technology to do their job. This is not acceptable. The city needs to build a state-of-the-art animal shelter so that it can attract and retain experienced and trained personnel, and this is important, volunteers to do the job of animal control. Volunteers is there's probably no other department in the city where you can have volunteers doing the city's work for free. The Gulfport has a pool of about 75 volunteers they can call on any given day to come in and help at animal control. Mobile can't do that because Mobile doesn't have the staff to supervise the volunteers, and Mobile doesn't have a facility that will enable people to work there effectively. So if the city wants to be a progressive and helpful place to live, it needs to build a state-of-the-art shelter. Is there any argument against that? Does the community expect less? We hope that you take a magic marker to this report, go through and mark out the stuff you don't like, underline the stuff you do like. We had public input. It took a lot of work. So we want this to be a working document. And we also ask that we're giving you the copies today, but we would like to present this next week and have us on the agenda so that we can continue to help the city solve the animal problems. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, thank you all so much for your hard work. The report that you all are going to submit, is this your final report?
Yes.
So this is your final report?
Yes.
Was it to our attorney, was it a sunset on the ordinance that when was it, or when is it?
I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was in December or maybe the end of the year, but it's over.
It's over, okay. But we appreciate you all hard work. Let me ask you a question. So we was informed this morning during pre-council that the administration is now investing into some 21st century items to help with the animal shelter. Have you all really been working with the administration during this process, the whole process up to now?
Yes, and we regard what the administration did was step into a crisis situation with temporary fixes. We are looking at a more long-term global approach to solving the animal problems in the city. And we want to continue working with, we'll be glad to continue working with the city to get these problems solved, because we did a lot of work. We looked at other communities in the United States and what works for them, and we listened to the public and what the public wanted. So,
other communities such as, just asking.
Excuse me?
Such as what other communities? Atlanta, Birmingham?
Well, we used Gulfport in Harrison County, and we used Huntsville in Alabama, and we looked at Los Angeles, and we looked at quite a few other cities that have solved their animal issues by using certain things. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. They're there. We just need to adopt it. But the big problem in Mobile is that shelter, is that facility is 55 years old, and it's just not tenable. It's not workable.
Again, from my office, I do appreciate, you all hard work and looking forward to reading the complete report.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mr. President?
Mr. Jones.
You mentioned volunteers. I've got a number of folks that have been actively working in our neighborhood to eradicate different issues already because of the shortness of staff that we have in the city. How do we get them certified to work in coordination with yours? Don't want that answer right now, but if y'all could send that to us so we could send that out to those folks that are interested to becoming volunteers, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Carroll?
Yeah, since this kind of started inflating with me last Tuesday, or I question, are you working closely with Mr. Snowden and the animal control group?
Yes, we are.
So you're aware of the information she gave this morning with the new technology and the I forget what they call them, gun nets that they're using? She's aware of all of that?
That's something that's a new development that we're working on, but a lot of the collaboration with Terry here took place with Allie. And one of the main reasons we brought Allie on is to bring these programs, volunteer programs, these adoption programs and fostering programs, and to work with Terry to implement these and bring us into the modern era with animal care.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I almost got the intent to add a little humor to the morning, but I'll let that wait.
Okay. So, and again, we can continue working on, this is a big problem. It's been neglected for not years, but for decades. And so the city has to play catch up now.
Yeah, thank you all so much again for your hard work and everything. And we'll take this information into consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Ordinances.
What do I do?
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have other people signed in for agenda items. Diane Keith regarding 39003. And following Ms. Keith are Dale Pfeiffer and Reba Pfeiffer regarding 39003.
Good morning. Thank you very much for seeing us. I would like to address
Can I get your name and your address,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry. Diane Keith, 7341 Old Government Street Road.
Thank you.
Okay. I would like to address the homeless situation that is, okay? 4 years ago, I lived in a tent for almost 2 years. I was homeless here in Mobile. I was beaten. I was stabbed. When I was stabbed, the police told me that they weren't going to do anything for me because I was homeless and I needed to just leave them alone. I had to get another police officer out to help me. Our homeless situation is really bad. And Housing First works so hard. I want you to know that I am a Housing First client. I was taken into Housing First, and I have been a successful Housing First client for almost 5 years now. And Housing First has a bunch of projects, like they're called tiny villages, where they make a main center and then they build small rooms. And what it is, it's transitional housing for the homeless, okay? They go in there and they spend 90 days. They get a job, they get cleaned up. I have people right now that went and applied for a job and they hired them. As soon as they found out they were homeless, they fired them. So they're still homeless, and just pushing them to another spot doesn't help the situation. The situation needs to be where we could be like some of these other larger cities. We have videos where Housing First has worked so successfully that those cities' their homeless population is down to 2%. And you talk about all these people that vote. You know what? I vote and I was homeless, okay? So, that's another constituent, and they're everywhere. They don't have a district. They don't have anything. And somebody else has to be their voice. These people get hurt, they get sick, and your idea of making it illegal for them to be on public property, the public and the places where we are should be where we help people. We shouldn't be pushing people off on private property in the woods and things like that, And when Housing First had 15 places, which it did good for what it was. It just, couldn't keep on. But like I say, if the city does that, then you would help us and help us into these kind of places to where we can put these villages together and help people get off the street. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dale Pfeiffer.
I'm Reba Pfeiffer, his wife.
And we live at 107 Providence Street. I represent what we're calling the homeless in Mobile. It's a very growing constituency. We have over 4,000 likes on our Facebook page. My role is bringing this community kind of fragmented. Everybody's doing a different part. There's a lot going on all over this area to try to help the homeless. But most of the solutions, just like a lot of solutions, other solutions, are behind the times, let's put it that way. And we need more permanent solutions, not just putting a Band-Aid on it. You know, we can remove a tent from a public place. You know, a month ago at this time, I had an outreach to the homeless. We were giving out sleeping bags and clothes, jackets. Very appreciated. We had 40 people show up. Well, when I went out to hand out the handouts, a man was sleeping on a Spring Hill at the post office on the front porch in a sleeping bag. We have over 600 people in the area. Housing First does a count every month. So basically next Sunday at Central Presbyterian Church, I am getting together with all of these different fragmented groups. We're getting support very quickly from groups all over. And I'm going to read my proposal, or it's not a proposal to the city. This is just what we're going to be doing, our purpose. Our purpose is to create a bipartisan alliance of concerned citizens focused on the establishment of a homeless village in Mobile. Similar to homeless solutions established in other cities across America, where the homeless of Mobile can reside in a safe place to get anchored and prepare for affordable housing. And so next Sunday at 1:30, I'm going to be doing, we're going to be showing a presentation of what they're doing in Seattle, Washington. Very successful program, very affordable. We need the city's help to be able to do that kind of a village. But beyond that, we have over 150,000 people that are concerned about the homeless that can help with this. Now, my background is an association executive. I work with the National Realtor Database System. I help create a solution in Mobile, Baldwin County to help the realtors.
Excuse me. Yeah, your 3 minutes have expired.
Okay.
I hate to cut you off and everything, but I do appreciate, all the hard work that you all have done, for the homeless and for our community and everything. And we're asking you that, please keep up any suggestions that you have. Please email it to the administration, and pretty much with assistance, probably through funding, et cetera, they'll fund it down through the budget and give it to the council and everything.
Okay. Thank you
But we
very
do
much.
appreciate your hard work so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, just a question here. Where is this homeless village? Where's this going to be located?
Well, we're just starting the discovery for, what we're going to need, the type. There's all different types of tiny home villages for the homeless. Austin has one that's like a resort.
So you don't have the location settled?
We don't have anything.
Okay.
We're at the very bottom building this solution, and we're going to have a lot of committees working on it. And but I just wanted to let you know that it's going to be starting next Sunday. We're going to meet every month until we have a tiny home village.
And I want to also take a minute to say how much I appreciate the work y'all do with the homeless. It is absolutely an issue that faces our city and cities across the country, and one that I hope we can get a hold of in some sort of way. But I also want to take the opportunity to explain, or at least make you aware that, you know, this ordinance that's being introduced is truly not aimed at addressing the homeless issue. This is aimed at addressing public health concerns for the rest of the folks that have to live in the city. And, you know, I welcome the opportunity to have the discussion, the broader, bigger discussion about the homeless population and what the city can do to help. But I think it's important that we keep those discussions sort of separate. We've got to protect our people that live in the city, you know, and that's my aim. So thank you all so much for all that you do. I really appreciate it.
Really just looking over this at that ordinance that they came up to sign up about 39-003. I really believe that we really need to send that to a committee for, you know, citizens, and the council can really just get a good understanding, you know, of exactly, you know, what it's going to be before us. If we can just sign this to the public safety committee, and if you can just come up with a date, let's go ahead and bring everybody to the table who will have anything to do with this particular ordinance.
Reggie Hill.
And what does Mr. Hill wish to address us concerning?
Oh, I'm sorry. Regarding resolutions 21039, 21043.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk, citizens and stakeholders of Mobile. Good morning. I think we're still in the morning. Reggie Hill, 1007 Center Street. I'm just going back over, excuse me, these items that were added to the agenda last week, and it's dealing primarily with the ARP funding, so this is going to be a general remark. And I was pleased to hear that 39-003 was potentially being sent to committee, and I'm hoping that these 5 items.
Mr. Hill did not sign up to speak about that.
Yes, Mr. Hill, just stick to what you signed up for. Yeah, thank you.
Actually, Mr. Small, what I was referring to, because once again, he continues to cut me off before I finish my statement, how this was being recommended to go to the Public Safety Committee meeting. All of these ARP items are related to public safety. So we're hoping as well, the chairman of that committee has stated that there is a meeting that is coming up. So I'm hoping that these items as well can be sent to that same committee meeting. So again, if I'm allowed to express my comments in the few 180 seconds that I have to do it, I think that we'll be able to get to how this is all according to the agenda. Now as well, just to speed it up, because I don't want any more confusion on what's going on up here. What is the status of the social service ARP funding? Because we see these items that continue to come to the agenda related to ARP, where the serious needs of our communities are not being met. And this is the kind of confusion that I believe leads to the discord that we see. We have opportunity to understand what's really going on. The next part I wanted to ask was what metrics were used to ensure that the allocation of these resources are actually going to be effective? We know that they're saying that potentially this could be something that is chosen to come out of the general fund in the future dates, but it seems like we're basing this on ifs and hypotheticals. These are resources that really need to be used in areas that are hurting, and this is what it's actually designed for. As well, we know that the governor is currently facing a lot of heat from the U.S. Department of Justice because of how she's trying to use these same funding for public safety and law enforcement matters. So I just want to know what type of evaluations have we done to ensure that this is not only going to be effective, but it's not a violation of any laws or codes. And again, I'm hoping that these matters can be laid over, but we need to know the status of the social service portions to ARP funding, what metrics have been presented to this body to ensure that this is something that we should be allocating these resources on, how are we not violating laws, because we've seen the same thing happen with the governor in relation to law enforcement and public safety resources from the ARP, and can this be laid over until that public safety committee meeting, so possibly at that time, the citizens and this body itself can know what's actually going on.
Mr. Carroll.
Yeah, what bucket of money did did this for these professional services contracts come from? Wasn't social services, was it? What bucket?
No, it is not from the ARP social service dollars. I'll defer to Chief of Staff, but I believe that's out of the violence prevention.
That is correct. This is part of the technology and violence prevention, the 5.1 million put aside for the gun violence programs.
So that was the gunshot detection program?
This is the precursor to the actual contracts that will, the gunshot detection.
So it all has to be part of that. My second question is I remember the request for when, and we asked that question when he asked the last time, when was the social services dollars going to be granted from ARPA? I mean, the date was December 14th. We're now 18 January. So, I mean, are we still trying to resolve that? And if so, how long will it be?
Yeah, so, like was discussed, I believe it was last week, we had to flip the HUD budget because that's a hard timeline on it, a deadline to get the submission into HUD. And the deadline for the ARP funding is not to be under contract until the end of 2024, so we had time to flip it. We'll be going back to ARP social services as soon as the HUD budget's passed and we get all that settled, so we can submit that to HUD.
So do we have a date?
What?
Do we have a date?
The projected date was December 14th, but that was again before we had the 37 groups submit. We typically get no more than about 10. We're looking at probably the 1st of February. I have to guess coming before council to get to the committee, I'm sure.
That's a guesstimate? That's a guesstimate, right? Just an estimated
that's
date. So nearabouts, we really don't know.
Right.
Okay. All right. That answers your question.
Honestly, no, because you remember last week you said at the end of January. But I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, you making the room for him to respond. But that's where the confusion is. Why the questions are coming here constantly every week. Just last week, he said it'll be at the end of January. I was at the 1st of February. I do appreciate it.
Sometimes in government there are delays.
February 1st would be the council date. It would actually be submitted to council that Thursday before, which is the end of January.
The end of January? Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance is held over. 60. Are there any objections to the either of these? Okay. 64001, rezone property located at the northeast corner of Cody Road South and Summerby from R1 to B3. 64002, rezone property located at 5527 Todd Acres Drive from B5 to I1.
So moved.
Second. Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance passes.
Consent.
What?
You did not have an item that was on the agenda to address. Consent resolutions held over. 37026, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license for Club Elevate on Halls Mill Road.
Move to lay over for 1 week.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item laid over.
Resolutions held over. Are there any objections to any of these resolutions? I take them together. Okay. Resolutions held over. 21038, authorized contract with telecommunications firm doing business as Citranet for Wi-Fi service at the Mobile, Alabama Cruise Terminal. 21039, authorized contract with Michael J. as lead intelligence program specialist. 21040, authorized contract with James Dixon as youth violence prevention coordinator. 21041, authorized contract with Tyler Fast as senior cyber specialist. 21042, authorized contract with ProTech Video for specialized technology services and management. 21043, authorized contract with UAV Survey for specialized technology services and management.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Ordinance is being introduced for the first time, 39003.
By council rules, this would lay over for 1 week, but with the president's suggestion to send this to committee, I'm wondering if there is a different timeline that you all would suggest for laying this over until.
Here.
Yeah.
Why don't we just lay over 1 week?
Lay it over
and
for
if
1
we-
week and then decide?
Right.
Okay. Move to lay, by council rules, this will lay over for 1 week.
Consent resolutions being introduced. 03047 through 03076.
Move to waive unanimous, move to waive the rules in order to consider these resolutions with the exception of the 5 that we talked about in Mr. Carroll's district.
Second.
Yeah, that's 40050 through 40054.
54, correct.
Mr. President.
Oh. Motion and proper second in discussion.
We're laying those over 2 weeks, correct?
Is it
Oh,
1 week
wait,
or 2
oh,
weeks?
over 2 weeks?
Oh.
Okay, well then we have to take those.
We
Yeah,
have
we'll
to
have
take
to
them
take
up.
them up then.
We have to take those in order to lay them over 2 weeks.
Yeah, we on discussion.
Okay.
So
Just so it's
1 week, okay. So same motion then, yeah.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
on, I just wanted to point out, on 30047, the initial resolution that was on the agenda had a blank for a start date, and we changed that between the meetings to say effective immediately, and then the court would do whatever they need to do as far as the signing document. Okay. 03047, the judge.
Can that just be reflected in the resolution that is passed?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is.
We need to vote on whether to waive the rule.
Well, we did.
We,
Oh, did we?
Yeah, because, yeah, you're,
Still on discussion.
We're still in discussion. We never voted to waive the rule.
oh, okay, because you said you were good with the 1 week, so, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Madam Clerk.
Okay. 03047, appoint Robert Thomas, Freddie Stokes, and R. Jeffrey Perloff as part-time judges of the Mobile Municipal Court. 37048, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license for Paws Lounge and Grill on Congress Street. 37049, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for PS Taco Company on Rangeline Crossing Drive. 58055 and 58056 are declaring weeds noxious and assess cost for removal of weeds. Weed Lien Group 1624 and 1619. 60057, 5859, 60, 61, and 62 are determining appropriations to Trinity Gardens Community Civic Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters of South Alabama, Stone Street Baptist Church, Providence Foundation Festival of Flowers, Trinity Gardens Falcons Athletics, People United to Advance the Dream, serve a public purpose, and approve payment. 03075 and 076 are appointing Linda St. John to fill an unexpired term on the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners and reappointing Sam Strada to the History Museum of Mobile Board.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Passes.
Resolutions being introduced 21063 through 31071.
By council rules, these will be laid over for 1 week.
Call for public hearings. 41072, call for public hearing to consider approval of a certificate of public convenience and necessity to George Austin St. Clair, businesses Mob City Rides, to operate a sedan service scheduled February 1st. 41073, call for public hearing to rezone property located at 1452 Government Street from R3 to B1 scheduled February 15th. 41074, call for public hearing to rezone property located at 4251 Bit and Spur Road from R1 to R2 scheduled February 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Public hearing is called.
Announcements.
We're going to start with District 1, Councilman Corey Penn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On this past weekend, we had the opportunity to have our MLK Service Day in District 1. It was amazing turnout. So thank you for everyone that came out. Also, this past Monday, the people, the events, the Dream, they did an amazing job with the breakfast as well as the march. We had a great turnout. And so thank you so much to that organization for hosting those great events. Today, I will have a meeting at the Microfigures Community Center to discuss the Jewel Court property. It will be at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. In District 2, Councilman William Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'd like to thank Helen Myers Dunning and her son Barry Dunning and the McGill Twin basketball team for their participation and representation of me in District 2 with my absence this weekend and the cleanup. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Mobile Kappa League in their participation also, and everyone else that participated in District 2 in our cleanup. I'm told that it was a huge success. Again, to the animal control and the dogs, you know, good job, you know what I mean? But let's keep it up. We have to catch the dogs. Just so you know, sitting here, I received a text. 2 of the dogs that were in West Lawn were caught. I understand that she is on her way out to the people that trapped them to pick them up now, so we're making progress. We still need to catch the puppies that are on Polk Street and get that under control, but let's continue to do well at that while we make decent progress. And lastly, I have no contention as far as race when it comes to reapportionment. Again, let me tell you guys, the first step is great. We're so close. Let's work together to get to the end of this road. I appreciate all that you all have done, and I look forward to starting our community meetings, which I am still waiting on a date. And we plan to start in the Maysville Beat, in the area around Last Stadium, and I need that date so we can start getting it out to everyone and get the postcards out. Thank you, Mr. President. That's the end of it.
All right. District 4, Councilman Ben Reynolds.
No announcements.
District 5, District 6, Councilman Scott Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. President. I'd like to echo the comments that were made about this weekend's Martin Luther King Day of Service. We had over 30 volunteers in District 6. I don't know what the numbers are, but I can tell you we made a dent in the litter cleanup there. So thanks to all that were involved, Casey and Chris and Allie and Jack and all the others that were out there. Thank you. We are going to be having our next community meeting, District 6 wide, this Thursday night at the Connie Hudson Center at 6:30. That will focus on public works and infrastructure, traffic control, et cetera. Look forward to seeing you there. Special shout out to Colonel DeLapp also, who came out and was picking up trash in our district, so appreciate that. I would like to ask the administration, I need some help. In December, we signed a contract with 1031 Mills to provide service to the Connie Hudson Center. I've been trying, I understand, I was out there last week, and the mills are not being served. They should have started this last week. I understand there's some problems with some type of permitting or whatnot. I've been trying to reach 1031, have not been able to get in touch with anybody there, but they are definitely waiting for those services to start, and I need some help in that area. Thank you so much.
Okay. District 7, Vice President Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past Thursday, I attended a meeting with an applicant and residents concerning a potential rezoning at Ziegler Boulevard and University Boulevard. I just want to thank everyone who came out. Great questions. And thanks also to the applicants who were very gracious to be there and to answer questions and to agree to work with the residents to try to come to a compromise. The proposal goes before the Planning Commission on Thursday, so I know they were trying to get together to try to work things out. So I just appreciate all the work that has gone into that, and their agreement to try to work together. That doesn't always happen. So that was a very good meeting, and also thanks to the Mobile Museum of Art for hosting us that night. I too want to thank everyone who was involved in the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Caring. We had a tremendous turnout in District 7. We met over at Athey Road in Ziegler, and volunteer groups went out on Athey as well as some on Ziegler. There was always plenty of litter to be picked up in both of those areas, and we did make a dent. So just many thanks go to, of course, Mobile United, who hosted and spearheaded the work, to Mobile Baykeeper, who was my co-leader in the cleanup in our area, to the Osprey Group, who stayed around to help pick up all of the litter. So just again, thank you. And Casey, of course, who helped coordinate everything from your seat. Just many thanks to the volunteers who made it a point to be out for this day of service, community service. It was just a great turnout, and I would like to do these more often. Thank you.
All right. And to the citizens of District 3, I'd like to follow my colleagues and thank everyone who came out on Saturday for the MLK Jr. Day of Service, especially thanks to the Peninsula and Revitalized DIP for coming out on Saturday morning. Great success, and looking forward to doing it again soon. As the mayor had stated earlier, I had the opportunity to help to flip the switch for the Mardi Gras tree for downtown Mobile. And one of the media asked me a question as far as in safety. The most important thing that we can do, as they've been preaching on different news networks, is just to get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. If you feel sick, stay at home. And that will help us to have a successful Mardi Gras season. Again, the best thing that you can do for yourself, your neighbor, your family, is to get vaccinated. And again, if you're feeling sick, please stay at home. Anything else from the council? Anything from the administration?